this is the Earthsea Quartet. So this is not the Wizard of Earthsea. It's all 4 of the Earthsea books in one book, which is cool. I read it a couple years ago, so I had to reread it on the plane over here because I'd forgotten most of it. Not that it's really forgettable, it's just I've read a lot of books in between. But Wizard of Earthsea is the first book in this 4-book series. It's fantasy. So I was told that some of you may have read it, that your fantasy section is actually in January, is that right? Yes. So who has read Wizard of Earthsea in this room? So 3, 4? Yeah.
I'm in the middle.
That's
I'm in the middle.
What part are you at?
Part where they're debating about which one is better, like how Jasper is hating Greg and stuff like that.
There's, okay, so this kid, Ged, goes to a school. He's from a very poor family in the mountains, and he's a peasant, and he all of a sudden discovers these magic powers. He can call a hawk to his arm, and he can, one day his village is attacked by vicious, evil marauders, right, like almost like Vikings, only, you know, fantasy. And they attack him, and he knows he can prevent his village from being utterly destroyed, so he calls in a fog that covers the village. And since his people know their way around the village, they dash in and out of the fog, and they totally pwn those marauder guys, and they win the day against these people who have killed hundreds and hundreds of burnt villages along the way, which is pretty cool. But unfortunately, he's only acting from kind of a pure instinct and this great big pride. He's a boy, he's 12, and he has a lot of pride, and he's kind of gawky and spindly and awkward and angry because he's, you know, he doesn't know anything, but he knows he's powerful. And when he calls the fog up, what happens is it totally drains him of like everything, and he falls into a kind of sick, poisoned coma, and nobody can wake him until one day a stranger comes and touches him, and he wakes up and he says, "Come on and learn with me, I'll teach you something." Ged is like, okay, cool, wizardry, magic. But it's kind of boring with this guy. This guy's all about peace, man, and he's all about taking long walks in the woods, and he's about herbs. He likes herbs, and Ged's like, I want falcons on my forearm, and I want power, and I want to be able to fight dragons. So, you know, who wouldn't want to fight dragons? Okay. I'll fight dragons. You'll fight dragons. So, okay, so how many of you are familiar with, like, Harry Potter? Awesome. Okay, well, you know Hogwarts, Hogwarts, remember Hogwarts, everyone? Have you seen the movies? Yeah. How many of you hate Harry Potter? Okay, tell me why you hate Harry Potter. Speak.
The movies just don't interest me. Like, sometimes it can be interesting, and then other times it's boring.
What would make the movies more interesting to you?
Excuse me.
Different people and add some humor. Yeah.
So more humor, because funny, and different people. So like more, what kind of characters? What kind of characters do you want to see in a movie? Like
Vampires.
Okay, vampires. We'll talk about vampires. We're going to talk about vampires for just a few minutes. How many of you are familiar with Twilight? All right. So Twilight is another kind of fantasy. It's not this kind of fantasy. It's called urban fantasy. And urban fantasy is fantasy that takes place in a city, in like contemporary times, here and now. So it's familiar to us. We know what these people are wearing, and we know that they like to drink Coke when they're not drinking blood, you know, or I don't know, Dr. Pepper if you're a Dr. Pepper person. So it's a different kind of fantasy, and I write all kinds of fantasy because that's what you have to do to be flexible. I've written 2 books that just came out this year. One, they're with small presses, they're not huge, like, wow, bestsellers, but one is like a twisted fairy tale, where, you know, anybody knows the story of Jack and the Giant? Jack the Giant Killer? No. It's a twisted version of that. And then I wrote one with clowns, scary clowns. Anybody scared of clowns here?
Me.
Yeah. So I've never tried to write a novel like J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter, or Ursula Le Guin wrote The Wizard of Earthsea. I never tried to write a novel where children have to go to a school to learn magic. Now you all go to Twills and to East Harlem, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you learn Latin, which was Twills. Okay. Oh, it's all Twills.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still learning. So in Twills you learn awesome things like Latin and like science and math, which some people really like. I like them. I just can't perform them very well. I had different talents. Some people like reading. Who likes reading? Some people like writing. Jasmine. Jasmine's an awesome writer. I just read part of her first, her stories she gave me. And, maybe people who like to write at Twills, maybe you form a writing group, because I have this great writing group that I made from friends that I met in Chicago at college. And we'd get together, once a week, and we'll all write together and maybe eat food and forget about writing because we were distracted because we were friends. And then once a month we would do this open mic night where everybody brings their writing and food, because food is very important to writers. So everybody brings their writing and their food, and if there's not a microphone, maybe there should be, but usually it's a small enough space. And everybody gets to share their writing immediately. Like, Jasmine was so brave, and she made her friend give me her story. And yes, exactly. That's what friends are for, right? And when you get to share them with other writers, it sharpens your mind. Like, you were saying that Latin makes you smarter, right? Well, the same thing about reading stories out loud makes you hear your story in a different way. And I think it's very important. It's one of my pets. So, you're all young women who are going to be probably great women when you're grown. You're probably already great women. Do you study about leadership among women? Yeah. Is that something you talk about a lot? Tell me the qualities of a leader of women, a leader of a community.
You do stuff. You do good stuff, like be a leader when nobody's looking.
That's wonderful. What else does a leader do among
Even when nobody's looking. She just said that.
It's worth saying twice. What else does a leader do?
A leader stands out from the crowd.
Okay, how?
They don't follow everyone else. If they're doing something wrong, they don't follow that.
They stand up and use their voices. Yes. Well, it's really cool. So Ursula K. Le Guin, awesome author of Wizard of Earthsea. She is what we call a leader of the female writers in fantasy and science fiction. So for you scientists who prefer science fiction, perhaps, she's got some great science fiction. If you don't like fantasy, never mind. Read Left Hand of Darkness. So she's this major writer. She's a major voice in science fiction and fantasy because she has a voice nobody else does. She's very erudite. She probably knows Latin. I don't know. I've never asked her. But she knows all sorts of things about anthropology and about science and biology, and all of her knowledge of all this world goes into a fantasy world so that it feels as real as this world, or like Twilight, maybe even more real than Twilight, I'm not sure. So what I wanted to talk to you about, one of the things in this particular book, Wizard of Earthsea, is that the boys go to a boys' school for wizards. So even unlike Harry Potter, where there are at least some girls doing awesome magic like Hermione, there is only boys in this school, which is a little bit annoying to me, personally. So if you were going to a wizard school, what would you want to learn? All girls wizard school, we'll call it the Maryland Wizard School. The Maryland Wizard School for wayward girls. Pardon? So you're running a wizard school, Maryland, and you're playing piano for all the students, and every time you play the piano, colored lights appear. It's one of your tricks. You're an awesome wizard. Okay, she likes me because she's an awesome wizard who plays music and colored lights appear. So if you were going to a wizard school and you're going to learn Latin, But guess what? It's magic Latin. It's not regular Latin. And every time, spell Latin. Okay, so you go to a wizard school, you go to your Latin class, oh, Latin. And then all of a sudden you know that when you say the word for boy, say the word for boy. Puer. Say the word for boy, puer, and all of a sudden, a boy appears. Okay, let's say whoever appears, this boy, whoever sees him, he is the person that they wanted to appear. He's whatever boy, but it's only one boy and he's here in an all-girls school. What are the consequences to this boy appearing? What do you think would happen? Here, you first.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this based on our school.
Yes,
If there
exactly.
was one boy in this all-girls school, and I would feel sorry for that boy. He would probably get trampled by all
Okay, so death by trampling, that's a good one.
I think that there was a lot of fights for that.
Poor boy, he'd be so confused. Talk about identity crisis. So, first of all, he'd get trampled by all you beautiful, strong, powerful women. Second of all, everybody would see somebody different, and so you'd all be fighting amongst yourselves, and that would be silly. And then what else would happen?
And then it all depends on how desperate the person is.
All right, so let's say some women would be like, he's not worth my time, and I would rather study Latin. And then some women would be like, boys. And then so that's great. Okay, so in Wizard of Earthsea, Le Guin, she talks a lot about. She goes to the school. The boy, Ged, goes to the school, and he wants power. That's what he wants. He wants to learn these amazing spells that will make him the most powerful, the best, the brightest. And there is another fellow there named Jasper, right? Somebody mentioned that.
Oh, yeah.
Jasper is sort of to Ged, a little bit, not quite, but what Draco Malfoy is to Harry Potter. Okay, he is. He can't help it, he got older, right? So Jasper is an older boy than Ged. He knows more spells. He's always looking at Ged with this kind of smile. That's like, yeah, that smile that says, I'm better than you. Nothing you can say or do will ever make you better than me. And Ged is not one to take this lightly. I mean, what if somebody came to you and was like, so, you like to read? Never mind. And doesn't even stay to listen for the answer, just like as you're talking, you sort of. I mean, Jasper's so irritating. I would be irritated. And so Ged is constantly trying to gain more power in order to show up Jasper, and it has horrible consequences. Just imagine the one consequence of saying, what's the word for boy? Puer. Boom, boy. It's Jacob Lattimore. It's what's it's Justin Bieber. He's being torn apart so you can all have a piece of him. That's a consequence. So a consequence in Wizard of Earthsea, there's this epic battle between these two young wizards. And I can't tell you what happens because you're probably going to read it in January. But there are horrible consequences that last years and years and years and years, and scars and pain and horror and shadow, and it's very exciting. So when you read it in January, or when you get to that part, you will definitely enjoy that, I think. So, I want to do some writing exercises with you. Some of you will like it, some of you will all like it because it's a game. So I'm going to hand out some paper and some pens, and we will do amazing things. I promise.